Hello everyone, I'm Charles. Welcome to Graphic Design Quick Start. In today's episode, I'll be showing you how to render type in brushed metal in Photoshop. This is the layer that we'll start with, and our final look will be this, a fully brushed metal effect. Let me show you how this is done. Let us switch to a starting composition. Go to the Layers panel. Here we start with this text layer and some rectangles. The first thing we need to do is create the brushed metal pattern. We'll do that in a new layer. Go to File, New. Make sure the new layer has the same size with the document you're working with. In my case, that is 1920 by 1080 pixels and a resolution of 300 pixels. Click on Create. Let us fill the layer with black. Press D for default foreground and background colors. Press Alt Backspace, Option Delete mark to fill it with black. Go to Image, Mode, convert it to Grayscale. Click on Discard. The next step is to apply Smart Filters. First, convert the layer to a smart object. Right click on an empty area of the layer. Click on Convert Smart Object. Let us rename the layer to black. Go to Filter, Noise, Add Noise. Give it an amount of 100 with a distribution of Gaussian. Monochromatic is automatically selected since you are working with a grayscale image. Click OK. Let us apply some motion blur. Go to Filter, Blur, Motion Blur. Give it an angle of 25 or any other angle that you feel like working with. Give it a distance of 500 or higher if you're working with a higher resolution image. If you're working with a low resolution image, you can give it a lower distance. Click OK. At this point, we're having weird edges. To work on them, let us scale our layer a little bit. Go to Edit. Click on Free Transform or press Ctrl T, Command T on Mac. Click OK. Go to the control panel. Make sure you lock your dimensions. Change the width to 150%. Press Enter to apply the change. Now we're having a little bit of challenge. Our effect is not quite smooth. We are having some luminous noise. To make everything more gray, let us apply some emboss. Go to Filter, Stylize, click on Emboss. Give it an angle of 135 degrees, a height of 1, and an amount of 100%. Click OK. Now we have a brushed metal. All we need to do is define the pattern. Go to Edit, Define Pattern. Let us call it brushed metal. Click OK. Let us go back to a composition in progress. Now it's a matter of applying the pattern to our layers. Click on the text layer. Let us apply some layer effect. Go to the bottom of the layers panel. Click on the FX icon. The first layer effect we apply is gradient overlay. Change the blend mode to overlay so that it interacts with the pattern that we'll apply later. Change the opacity to 70. Also check the reverse gradient. Give it an angle of 110 degrees. Click on the gradient. Double click on the white color stop. Change the brightness to 50% to achieve the medium gray color. Click OK. Click OK again. Add the pattern overlay. If your pattern is quite aggressive, change its opacity to 50%. And also sometimes when you're applying patterns, we always have a challenge of having seams. To avoid any seams in future, change the scale to 130 and click on Snap to Origin. Now let us add bevel and emboss. Give it a style of inner bevel, a technique of chisel height, a depth of 500%, direction of up. Give it a size of 6, an angle of 140 degrees. Check Use Global Light. Give it an altitude of 30 degrees. Grass contour of linear. Change the highlight mode opacity to 50% and shadow mode opacity to 50% also. Next, let us add some drop shadow. Click on drop shadow. Leave the blend mode to multiply, an opacity of 75%, an angle of 140, a distance of 10, and a size of 10. Click OK. Let me zoom out. Now it's a matter of duplicating the effect to the other layers. Hold Alt, Option and Mark, and drag the effect to the inside layer. I had given them a color just to distinguish between the two layers. At this point, let us fill it with medium gray. Click on the inside layer to make it active. Go to the color panel. Click on the flyout menu. Click on HSV stylers. Assuming you have default foreground and background colors, change the brightness to 50%. Go back to the layers panel. Click on the inside layer. Press Shift Alt Backspace. Shift Option Delete on a mark to fill it with the foreground color. Let us get rid of the drop shadow. Double click on the bevel and emboss. Change the direction to down. Click OK. Let us tool it close. Hold Alt, Option Mark and drag the effect to the border layer. Press Alt Backspace, Option Delete on mark to fill it with medium gray. Let us get rid of the drop shadow. The next step is to style the circles at the corners. Hold Alt, Option Mark and drag the effect to the limit layer. Double click on bevel and emboss. Let me zoom in a little. Increase the size until the circles are full semicircle. In our case, that gives us 12. Click OK. Let me zoom out. The next step is to add some highlights. Click on the layers layer to show it. Here I have a bunch of rectangles merged together as a smart object. Let me zoom out a little. First thing we need to do is apply some distortion. Click on the layers layer to make it active. Press Ctrl T, Command T on mark to switch to fully transform. Hold Ctrl and drag the bottom left corner to distort them. Also hold Shift to constrain the movement. Ctrl Shift drag, Command Shift drag on a mark on the top right corner. Let us stretch them. Press Enter 2 times to apply the effect. Let us apply some blur. Go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur. Change the radius to 40 pixels. And this is entirely resolution dependent. If you have a higher resolution image, use a higher radius. If you have a lower resolution image, use a lower radius. Click OK. Change the layer blend mode to overlay. Change the opacity to 90%. And there we have it, how to render type in Brush Metal, entirely made by layering layer effects. That's it for today. Like, share, and consider subscribing to our channel so that you don't miss out on our next episode.